The crescent moon resting in your palm is more than a beautiful metaphor. It is a reminder that the power to reshape destiny has always lived within you. 2025 is not just another stretch of ordinary days, it is a threshold, a door that opens only for those courageous enough to see it and step through. The universe never shouts into your ears. It whispers through symbols, through events that seem accidental, through fleeting moments that stir your heart in ways you can't explain. And the crescent moon, half revealed, half hidden, mirrors the human journey. We are never fully complete, yet always carrying within us the potential for wholeness. The real question is not whether the moon lies in your hand, but whether you dare to open your palm and truly see it. Every turning point in life feels like standing before a closed door. You sense that beyond it lies something new, but you are unsure if you're ready. You fear that light may blind you, or that darkness may swallow you. Yet it is hesitation that keeps you trapped. 2025 arrives as an invitation you cannot ignore. Either you keep your fist clenched in fear, or you open your hand to receive the symbol that's been waiting. For this time is not a mere continuation of the past. It is a beginning, a pivot, a rebirth. If you look back, you'll notice the signs have always been there. Moments when you felt you had exhausted an old cycle yet clung on, dreams that repeated themselves, chance encounters that sparked new ideas. None of this was random. It was the universe placing a crescent moon in your hand. You could dismiss it, but you could never deny its presence. And as 2025 approaches, those signals grow louder, undeniable, demanding your recognition. Thresholds are inseparable from tests. They never open for those who cling to safety. They open for those who believe that beyond the door lies a wider space, even when they cannot see it yet. To cross the threshold is to enter the unknown. Only the brave earn its rewards. Freedom from what is old, the expansion of the mind, and the rebirth of the soul. That is why the crescent moon is not just a symbol of beginning, it is a promise. The light will grow if you choose to nurture it. 2025 does not hand gifts to those who wait passively in silence. It offers them to those who pay attention to the signs, who set fear aside, who open their hands to receive. The symbol in your palm is not ornamental, it is catalytic. It waits for you to awaken, to rise, to decide that it is time to stop living in fragments and start living in wholeness. The threshold of 2025 will not appear in fireworks or blinding light. It reveals itself in quiet moments when your heart stirs differently, in mornings when the sunlight feels unlike yesterday, in the reflection staring back at you in the mirror whispering, "This person cannot go on living the same way." These moments are the first steps across the threshold. And the miracle is this: once you step forward, the door behind you closes, there is no return. The crescent moon in your hand is proof that you have been chosen, that you have the power to create, that 2025 is the year you are called to step into a new chapter. This is not a vague prediction, it is a reminder. The strength has always been within you, the threshold already before you. The only question that remains is this: will you be brave enough to open your hand, claim the symbol, and walk into your own rebirth? Good things never arrive by accident. They only come to those who have prepared themselves. 2025 does not knock on your door for you to wait passively. It enters as a stern question: are you truly ready? Life does not give gifts to those who only wish without changing. It gives to those willing to face themselves, shed the old layers, and open their hearts to the new. The question, "are you ready?" is never gentle. It challenges every comfort zone you've built. Because readiness is not about longing for something new, it is about daring to let the old fall away. Many claim they want a fresh start, yet cling tightly to relationships, jobs, and beliefs that no longer serve them. They beg for change while their hearts stay locked in fear of loss. That is not readiness. It is half-hearted desire. When 2025 comes, it doesn't ask what you wish for, it asks only, have you found the courage to let go? For you cannot hold on to the darkness and reach for the light at the same time. To be ready is to accept that clarity may cost you comforting illusions. It may force you to see the truth about someone you once trusted, confront habits you thought harmless, or admit that fear has not been your shield but your chain. The question, "are you ready?" exists to bring you face to face with that truth. Only when you dare to see it clearly can you stand strong in your new chapter. Readiness also means no longer demanding proof before you move. It means no longer waiting for signs written in the sky, no longer begging for validation, no longer stalling because you think you're not enough. In reality, you will never feel enough if you keep chasing certainty. Readiness is stepping forward even when the path isn't visible, trusting that each step will carve the way. Ask yourself this: if the door before you opened right now, would you step through? If your answer is still, I need more time, or I'm not strong enough yet, then you are not truly ready. Because time will never make you ready, only your decision will. 2025 does not wait for you to be perfect. It waits for your decisive yes. Readiness is when you stop making excuses. You no longer say you are too busy, that circumstances aren't right, or that others haven't agreed. Readiness is knowing there is no perfect moment except this one. Life doesn't ask if you finished everything, it asks only, will you begin? The wonder is that once you are truly ready, you will see the universe aligning with you. Opportunities appear, the right people arrive, doors that seemed locked swing open. Not because the world suddenly changed, but because your frequency did. You stop radiating hesitation and start radiating resolve. That resolve is a signal that draws to you what was always meant to be yours. That is why Are You Ready is more than a challenge. It is an opening. It forces you to admit that your prayers may already have been heard, your dreams may already be on their way, but they cannot enter if you keep the door bolted shut. 2025 does not care about what you want, it cares about what you dare. So when the threshold appears, answer with action. Prove it by letting go of what no longer belongs, by opening your hands to receive, by believing even without seeing, by stepping forward even while your heart trembles. Because the moment you declare with your whole being, I am ready, the universe will respond with gifts beyond your imagination. And that will be the moment you realize 2025 has not come to repeat the past. It has come to open a brand new chapter where you don't just survive, but truly begin to live. No true beginning can unfold without first embracing an ending. 2025 will bring you to a moment where you must unclench your hand and release what once felt like pillars, what once seemed like escape routes, what once served as fragile comforts but no longer fit who you are becoming. It could be a relationship you've clung to until exhaustion, a job that has withered your spirit, a limiting belief that has kept you confined in a small box, or an image of yourself crafted merely to survive but never reflecting the truth within. Letting go of these things is no longer a choice, it becomes the inevitable step if you want to step into the new chapter of your life. This time, however, release will not shatter you. You will no longer plead for what leaves to stay, nor see someone's departure as a verdict on your worth. Instead, you let go with calm clarity, knowing without a doubt that you deserve more. What once felt essential now reveals itself as a burden, and you will wonder why you held it so tightly for so long. The fear of loss that once shook you will lose its grip. In 2025, release will not feel like losing it, will feel like stepping out of a burning house and taking your first breath of fresh air. There will be no ache, only relief, no regret, only gratitude for the courage to step out, because you will realize that rebirth requires space, and the very things that bound you were the walls blocking the light. You will no longer crave apologies, recognition, or explanations. What matters is not closing the old chapter with a final punctuation mark, but opening a new one with faith that everything happened exactly as it needed to. The maturity you step into will speak louder than words. It will affirm that nothing you lose can ever diminish your value. On the contrary, it is in the act of letting go that you become stronger, clearer, and more whole. Along this journey, you will see that detachment is not coldness, it is wisdom, sacredness, the transformation from mere survival into self-love. You will finally understand that the things you feared losing were in truth the barriers standing in the way of your blessings. And rather than mourn what has disappeared, you will begin to celebrate what is being born. Old habits and relationships that once gave you false safety will fall away. At first, you may expect emptiness, but instead you will find openness. A vast, spacious sky ready to be filled with what is healthier, truer, and more aligned with your soul. You will look back not with pain, but with gratitude, recognizing that everything that once existed served as a teacher guiding you to the growth you embody now. And as you move forward, you will not carry wounds, you will carry your whole self. That is you, free at last. Rebirth is not about becoming someone else. It is about returning to the essence of who you already are, the self that fear and attachment once concealed. It is the self that no longer compromises, no longer waits, no longer allows fear to define its worth. Release is the ending, but rebirth is the beginning. A beginning that needs no fireworks or applause, but unfolds quietly in the stillness of your soul, where you know you have broken free from invisible chains. 2025 will be the year you realize you are not the one who lost, you are the one who has been liberated. And from the very emptiness you once dreaded, the light of new life will pour in, carrying the freedom, the strength, and the love you have been waiting for all along. There are moments in life when it feels like you're staring into a mirror covered in dust. You look, but you can't quite see yourself. Everything is tangled, signals are mixed, people are unpredictable, and even you are unsure of what you truly desire. But then comes the moment when the veil falls away, and 2025 is that moment. The world itself hasn't changed, but you have. Your eyes sharpen, your intuition finds its voice, and truth reveals itself so clearly that pretending not to see becomes impossible. You begin to notice the masks people wear, the smiles that conceal agendas, the words laced with hidden motives, the relationships you once defended as messy but worth it now stand exposed as heavy burdens. The red flags you once dismissed as paranoia become undeniable evidence that your instincts were always right. For the first time, you are no longer lost in the web of confusion. You see the map that guides you forward. Patterns emerge. Old wounds and repeated choices suddenly connect into a coherent chain. You see how you once chased people who were never ready to love you, how you sacrificed your peace out of fear of being alone, how you chose safety over freedom. But instead of drowning in regret, you find clarity. The past is no longer a heap of mistakes, it transforms into a map of lessons. And miraculously, the very wounds that once hurt you now gleam as treasures of wisdom. In that moment, you also hear the true voice of your soul. For years, you lived by what you were taught to want: stability, recognition, conformity. But deep within, quieter desires always pulsed: freedom, creativity, pure love, truth. 2025 pulls those desires into the light. You no longer confuse the echoes of the outside world with the calling of your spirit. With clarity comes something sacred: divine timing. The things you once prayed for, wrote in journals, tried desperately to force into the present, suddenly they begin to arrive naturally. Not because you chased them harder, but because you aligned. When you stop asking, when will this happen, and start asking, who must I become to deserve it, the door opens. And you realize the delay was never rejection by the universe, it was your own unreadiness. Divine timing does not mean denial, it means preparation. The universe has never said no, it has only ever said not yet. Not yet until you are mature enough to receive without losing yourself. And in 2025, you will know you are ready. The doors that once stayed closed are no longer cold or silent. They open exactly at the moment you become the person meant to walk through them. Clarity doesn't demand that you burn every bridge behind you or confront those who wounded you. Sometimes awareness itself is enough, because once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you know, you cannot live as though you don't. That is the power of awakening. It is quiet, but it is permanent. What unfolds this year is not an external upheaval, but an internal metamorphosis. You no longer walk in fog, but with a newfound certainty. You choose not from fear, but from clarity. You love not from emptiness, but from fullness. You decide not under pressure, but from truth. And everything, work, love, opportunities, begins to flow with ease because they resonate with the frequency you now carry. 2025 is the year of illumination. Truth will no longer hide. Timing will no longer falter. This is the year you see yourself clearly, see others clearly, and see the path clearly. And when clarity meets perfect timing, you will step forward not with trembling, but with an unshakable faith that you are walking under divine guidance. No one grows in silence. It is the trials, the losses, the shocks that nearly drown you which force you to awaken your true strength. 2025 will not be a year where the world gently carries you. It will be the year it challenges you to the core, not to destroy you, but to awaken a version of yourself you had long forgotten. Situations may come that feel like dead ends, yet they arrive not to break you, but to remind you of the power within you that has never disappeared. This strength is not loud, not boastful, but when awakened, it is steady, unshakable, and immovable. You will see that courage does not come from declaring you are fearless, but from trembling and walking forward anyway. Confidence is not built in days of comfort, but in moments when you stand among ruins and decide not to collapse. Every job lost, every betrayal, every season where it seemed nothing remained to hold on to, these were the furnaces forging your resilience. What once made you feel like a victim now becomes proof that you are a survivor, more than a survivor, a leader of your own life. This transformation is not about becoming someone completely new. It is about returning to the self that has always been within you, hidden beneath fear, doubt, and the habit of shrinking to please others. It is the clear voice in your mind once silenced, the courage once suffocated. 2025 is the time when those layers of dust are washed away, revealing you as you truly are, unmasked and undeniable. And with this awakening comes a revelation. Failure has never been your enemy. Failure is a detour, a necessary redirection to keep you from being trapped in places that were never meant for you. Each closed door no longer leaves you, wondering why you were rejected. It shows you how the universe protected you. The no you once called humiliation becomes a sacred safeguard. That closed door was not built to break you, it was built to turn you back toward the one that was always yours. Looking back, you'll see clearly the job that didn't choose you saved you from mediocrity. The person who left you set you free to return to yourself. The prayer that seemed unanswered was being rearranged so you could receive what was truly worthy of you. Every failure carried within it a hidden map guiding you to your real beginning. When you understand this, you are no longer trapped in cycles of regret and resentment. Instead, gratitude rises. You give thanks for those who walked away, for opportunities that vanished, for paths that ended in walls. Without them, you would not have discovered your own strength. You would not have learned to rise. You would not have grown into someone ready for the threshold ahead. Your true power is not the ability to avoid trials, but to stand firm in them and emerge clearer, stronger, more whole. It is a silent power needing no shouting, no proof. It simply exists, and in its presence, others feel it. It whispers, I have survived the worst, and I am still here. This is the kind of power no one can take away, for it is etched into every experience you've lived. 2025 will not weaken you, it will forge you. And when you look back, you'll see that every crack in your past was not meant to destroy you, but to let the light pour in, to illuminate the strength that had been hidden too long. Failure will no longer appear as an ending, but as the raw material of rebirth. And once your inner strength is awakened, it will walk with you for the rest of the journey, so that no person, no circumstance will ever again convince you to surrender your worth. There is a truth we all must face. Not everyone is meant to walk with you until the end. 2025 will make this truth clear gently, yet decisively. You will notice that relationships once consuming your time and energy have faded into faint echoes. Not because you've grown cold, but because your frequency has shifted. You no longer resonate with conversations built on complaints. You no longer have the desire to stay in connections that demand constant explanations. And you are no longer willing to sacrifice your peace just to keep someone's presence in your life. When your circle begins to narrow, at first it may feel empty, but soon you realize it is not a loss, it is a purification. The space once crowded with unnecessary noise becomes open, leaving room for silence to nourish you. In that silence, you hear your own voice, clearly, the voice that has always been there, but hidden beneath the clamor of the crowd. You finally understand that peace is never an accident. It is the result of deliberate choice. And 2025 will be the year of choosing decisively peace over chaos, depth over superficiality, truth over forced harmony. You will also learn that loneliness and solitude are not the same. Loneliness is being surrounded by people who never truly see you. Solitude at times is the purest space to return to yourself. There, you don't need a mask. You don't have to shrink to fit others' expectations. You don't have to burn your energy just to sustain connections already empty. In those moments of solitude, you discover the wholeness that no crowd could ever give you. As the circle shrinks, the value of each remaining relationship becomes more profound. You no longer need dozens of people to prove your worth. You only need a few who are genuine enough, understanding enough, present enough. You begin to see that true connection is not about how often you talk, but about the quality of presence. The ones who remain do not demand explanations, do not ask you to prove yourself. They see you as you are and stay because of that. This narrowing also teaches you something vital. No one leaves because you've lost value. They leave because they no longer align with the path you're walking. And that misalignment is not anyone's fault. It is simply a shift in frequency. Once you understand this, blame dissolves, resentment fades. You let go with a quiet smile because you know that when some doors close, new peace opens. Peace then becomes your new way of living. It is more precious than fame, more enduring than applause, more profound than any external validation. You realize that when peace is within, you no longer need crowds to fill your emptiness. When peace lives inside you, what belongs to you will find its way naturally. 2025 will carve into your heart a sharp, simple lesson. The smaller the circle, the clearer the mind, the fewer the relationships, the fuller the heart. Peace is not a luxury, it is a birthright. The foundation that allows you to walk undistracted and hold yourself steady in a shifting world. And once you've tasted it, you will never again trade it away to please anyone. This is the silent yet powerful gift of the new year. The circle narrows, but the soul expands. No longer scattered, no longer fragmented. Your energy focuses on what matters most. You cultivate a stillness that makes every step steady. Peace becomes your compass, and from there, every road you choose will lead to true freedom. There is a truth you will feel more clearly in 2025. Magnetism is never born from strain, strategies, or flawless performance. It flows from healing from the state of no longer needing to prove your worth to anyone. When you stop chasing approval, stop shrinking yourself to be loved, stop trading peace for opportunity, your energy becomes whole again. And wholeness radiates a magnetism that needs no explanation. Others sense it before you even speak. This is not the kind of attraction learned through social tricks or communication skills. It is the pull of an inner world in harmony. When you stand in your truth without pretense, without walls, without running, you become a natural force of gravity. You no longer try to convince anyone to stay because the right ones will come on their own. You no longer beg for opportunities because the right doors open by themselves. This energy cannot be faked, cannot be bought. It is the inevitable fruit of healing and returning to your essence. As you walk with this wholeness, you see it clearly. The frequency you emit determines what you attract. Before, when you radiated fear, you drew half-hearted relationships, temporary jobs, fleeting opportunities designed only to test you. But when you emit peace, confidence, and clarity, you begin to attract what matches you. People arrive not to change you, but to cherish you. Opportunities don't demand you to pretend, but require you to be yourself. Money doesn't arrive as a burden, but as a reward for living in alignment with your calling. You realize money is no longer a tiring race. It stops being proof of your worth or a scale for comparison. Instead, it flows naturally because you dare to work in alignment with your inner voice. 2025 shows you that true prosperity doesn't come from pressure and exhaustion, but from the harmony between your talents, your passions, and the values you bring to the world. The closer you move to your purpose, the more you give in truth, the more abundance flows effortless, unforced. The beauty is that effort still exists, but it no longer feels heavy. When you do what fits, work is no longer depletion, it is joy. When you give from truth, it doesn't feel like sacrifice, it feels like living. From this state, prosperity expands far beyond money. It becomes freedom. It becomes the sense that every day has meaning. It becomes the legacy you leave in the hearts of others. You will understand there is no guilt in wanting more, because more when aligned, is not just for you, it is expansion to serve, to give, to uplift. Prosperity becomes a mirror of the energy you sow, not the exhaustion you endure. When natural magnetism and aligned prosperity converge, you become the version of yourself that cannot be overlooked. You don't need to shout to be noticed. You don't need to fight for space. You only need to stand in your essence, and the world responds. This is the subtle yet powerful difference. Instead of you chasing, the good begins chasing you. 2025 will be the year you witness this shift. When you stop doing what your heart no longer wants, when you release what no longer fits, when you live in truth and let healthy energy guide you, you become a magnet for love, opportunity, and wealth. And all of it arrives without taking away your peace. On the contrary, it deepens your trust that you are on the right path. Prosperity stops being a pressure to achieve, it becomes the natural state you enter. And your magnetism no longer comes from what you do to impress, but from who you have become.